So now we have our cube here in our scene, and then we can go to the inspector and check what kind of stuff coming with the element. So we have the transform, so we can just like transform our cube, like the scale, the position, and the rotation. Then we have the mesh renderer, that it's makes like the render, like the image render of the cube, so we can look at the cube. And then we have the box collider. The idea of this box collider, it's, as I like to explain, it's the way that inside this virtual world, the other elements are interacting with this cube. They understand that this cube has like a space inside this world, in this virtual world. So the box collider are the limits of the cube, and the other elements inside that virtual world are gonna be aware of those limits of this cube, so they can interact to each other. So for example, I'm gonna show you, like if I create like another cube, for example, if I hit Command D, I'm just gonna duplicate the cube here in the hierarchy. Then I'm gonna bring my second cube like a little bit up and a little bit to the right. And then these cubes, if I hit the play button, I'm just gonna see that they are just floating in the space, because now like these cubes, they are just like they don't have any physics attached to them or any body attached to them. So I need to tell to the program that I can assign like a body, and if I assign like a body, like a mass, it's gonna start like having like this kind of physics. So for that, I can go here to my cube, to my inspector, and to add component, and then I'm gonna just type right rigid body. So if I put a component of a rigid body to this cube, and if I expand the rigid body, then I'm gonna see here that it's using gravity. So now he has a mass, so now I can have like more physics attached to this exact cube, right? So now it's gonna be affected by gravity. So if I play again, it's gonna fall, right? So we saw like the cube falls in the top of the other cube that is still floating, because the other one has not a rigid body, so it's not affected by the laws of gravity or physics. So the other one is just interacting with this cube that is in bottom. But as I told you, like it's interacting because this cube understands that this other cube has a box collider, so it has an area, like it's occupying like an area inside this virtual world. No matter what, like it's not using physics or has not a body, but at least he recognized the area of this cube, right? So for example, if I enable this box collider of the cube in the bottom, and then I play again my scene, it's just gonna go through it, because now the cube in the top is not recognizing like the area that the other cube, the other element using in this virtual world. So for that are the box colliders. I think that that's the only way that I can explain that somehow. So that explanation took me a lot, but I think that it's quite important that you understand what it's a box collider. So I'm just gonna delete this other cube that I create. And just hit delete, and then we just have like this cube right now. Now I want to show you how to parenting objects and how useful is to just parenting objects. So for example, if I go here and I don't know, I want to create like a more complex element, a 3D object, and then I'm gonna create like a sphere, and then I'm gonna go here to transform and reset, and then I'm gonna bring my sphere here. I don't know, I want to have like the sphere in the top of my cube. Maybe I want to make the cube a little bit smaller, and then the sphere is gonna go here, and also I'm gonna make smaller the sphere, and then I have this, I don't know, totem that I want to use. For example, if I want to move the whole totem, I want to move it together, what I can do is take our sphere and bring it to the cube in our hierarchy, and then the sphere is gonna become a child of the cube. So now the cube is the parent, and if I just do any transformation in the cube, now it's also is gonna affect the child, right? So for example, if I take the cube and then I scale the cube, it's gonna also expand like the child. I also can like delete. Let's delete this one again, and then we are gonna go here and we can create like an empty game object, give it a name. I'm gonna create, I don't know, like a lamp, and then I go here again and reset the transport position now in the 0 0, and then for my lamp I can like, and I'm gonna create like a 3D object inside my lamp. For example, I want to create like capsule, and for example the scale, I can link the X, Y and Z position scale, and then I hit 0.5, and then I have my capsule is gonna be smaller. And then for example, I want this design of lamp to have sphere, and then I bring my sphere here, and then maybe I can scale it down a little bit, 0.7, something like this. Also maybe I can scale down a little bit more my capsule, and yeah, this is my super designer lamp. And now everything inside my lamp, it's a child, right? So that's a really way like to organize our elements that we are like creating if we are going to create a lot of stuff. So I don't know if you are creating a chair or are you creating a room. So you can, that's the way that you can like use this parenting and child, so it's going to be more organized. So for example, I can go here again to my materials, and then I want to assign some colors to my lamp. So I can go to the left click, create, and then, sorry, right. All this time I have been saying left is right click, but you understand me. So the right click and then hit material. And then in material, I can go here and I don't know, like say lamp body. So that's gonna be for the sphere. I want to be green, and then I just assign to the body, and then I right click and then material, and no, actually I don't need a material for this. I can just delete this material, delete, because now I can, for this capsule that is gonna be like the bulb of my lamp, I can put a light inside the capsule. So I can go and right click a light, and then I go to point light. That's the one that I'm looking for. So for example, I can, I don't know, give a color. It's gonna be like yellow, and then it's a yellow capsule. So now I can, for example, hit the play button and see how it looks, my lamp. Maybe I can like bring my camera. It's too far away, so maybe I can go to my camera, to my main camera, move my camera a little bit, and then I can hit the play button again, and then there is my beautiful lamp that it's like with a light. So maybe in that case I will need a material. Create a material. This is gonna be bulb, and then I'm gonna go here to color and hit the yellow, and just let's go here and my capsule, and now it's yellow. Beautiful. Now we have a lamp. So yeah, now that we have our lamp for this beautiful room, I want to have like multiple lamps. Something that you will do, it's like you are just gonna hit Control this and create another lamp, and like you can just like move it here, and then you are gonna create another lamp, Control D, and then you have your lamps. But what happens if you want to change, I don't know, the light of your lamps? So in that case, you will need to go to each capsule and change the bulb color of every single light. So that's too much time. So for that, we can like create a prefab instead of like creating multiple lamps. So let's erase these lamps, and then let's have our lamp. I'm gonna actually change the name here. I'm gonna put bulb, and then I'm gonna go here and put body, and that's it. That's just for being organized. So now I can go here to assets, and let's create another folder, well, again, to be organized. So a folder, I'm gonna call this folder prefabs. So in prefabs, now I can enter the folder. So if I grab my lamp and I grab it and I throw it here, it's gonna create a prefab. we know that it's a prefab because the color here changed to blue. So now we know that this is a prefab. What is the point of a prefab? Now I can erase this one and doesn't matter because now it's here in the folder. So now I have my preset, my lamp, my preset lamp. So I can delete this one from here, and then no matter what, I'm gonna have it here in my folder. I can bring it again to the hierarchy. For example, I can have another lamp, another prefab lamp, and then another one. I'm gonna have my 3 lamps. If I want to change any settings in these lamps, I can just go here to prefab and double click here, and then I'm gonna be inside the settings of my lamp prefab. So now here in the hierarchy, you can check that we have again our same things that we create for our lamp. So for example, here in our bulb, if I go there, here's our bulb. So I can change now the materials here. So for example, if I go again to my assets, to materials, and then I create another material, and then I give a name to this material to bulb 2, right? So I can go here and change the color to red. And then I can go here, click my material and bring it to the bulb in the hierarchy. And then I just drop it. So now it's red. If I get out of this view of the prefab, so I can go here and click scenes, for example, or I can just click here in the arrow. So I go back to my scene. Now we saw like the color of all our lamps, all our prefabs, all the prefab has changed the color. Now I have like multiple lamps, red lamps, right? Prefabs are super useful when you want to do that, like multiple changes of the same element. So I don't know, if you create like an enemy and then you want to change something about the enemies, you can do it in that way. So you don't have to do it for each enemy. So you just create like a prefab. Also, you can change like parameters in each prefab individually, and it's not gonna affect the main prefab. I go here to this one, and then I grab this one and I drop it there. Then it's gonna be yellow, right? So I can change for each prefab the settings, and it's just gonna fit this one, right? So that's really cool about like making these prefabs. They are super useful. Okay, so something important about like this play mode, like when you hit play here and then you can see your game as an in play mode, is like you can make changes in your elements. If I grab my lamp and then I just like move, like scale it or do random stuff in play mode, is not gonna save the changes that you make in play mode. So be really careful about play mode, because you always forgot, and then you make 100 of like changes, and then when you hit again the play mode, all the changes are gonna get lost. Be careful with that.